Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our reaction and review for From Season 4, Episode 3. As a lot of you probably know, we are big fans of Victor. We are always here to celebrate as much Victor-related
Yep.
content on this show as possible. This episode gave us a full Victor buffet, I would say.
Absolutely. And for those of you out there that feel like I do, that Victor has answers, and Victor has had answers this whole time. Not exactly how to get out, but enough answers that I think he could help people. He has time and time again said that he doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to shift the subject to something else. He can't talk about it. There has been something holding him back, and now I think we know what it is.
Yeah, like that question at the center of this character has always been, why? Why? We can all be as dramatic as possible in asking that, but I think really we got a big answer in the form of one simple visual, which is him out on his little trek in the woods, which, took a lot of prodding for him and Ethan to actually tell the truth to each other in the first place.
Yeah.
But then he just so happens to find the famous yellow ensemble of the man in yellow.
Absolutely. And we got theories aplenty on what is going on with that.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun video. We have to dive into all of that. We have more water-related content to discuss. I mean, water is very big in the entire
Yes.
From universe. We have yet another Boyd-related cliffhanger as well, because Boyd, nothing ever comes easily or happily for this guy.
No.
All right, well, before we get into anything more here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be here throughout this season. More From discussions, more theories, and of course, more chances to talk with all of you guys in the comments. We always love hearing what you have to say.
We also have more From theories going on our memberships. You can join our memberships here on YouTube or over on our Patreon. And right now we have a From theory talking about the man in yellow and why he didn't just shapeshift into Jim and whether or not that was a huge missed opportunity or could have been a mistake for him. So please consider joining our memberships. It really helps us here at the channel as well.
Yeah, and it's just very, very fun to try to imagine what's going on in a terrible person's mind. That was a really fun discussion. We really appreciate everybody out there supporting us with that.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on right away.
Oh, nice and early.
Right away.
All right.
Why did Victor react the way that he did with such fear when he saw the man in yellow suit? So my theory is that they have had interaction before in the past. Way back. We go in the time machine. Beep, bop, 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 boop. Maybe you should do the time machine.
Beep, bop, 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 boop.
We are in the past. We are back where Victor was a child and the Victor generation of people at From, they're all still alive. Oh no, Miranda has got some knowledge. And as we know, knowledge comes at a cost. She was found at the bottle tree, dead. Nothing great's happening there. And because it comes at a cost, we know that Victor woke up the next day and the whole town was dead except for him. And while there's all kinds of theories and blaming of who did this, monsters, this, that, whatever, I think that the man in yellow was entirely behind killing off everyone in his town, leaving Victor alive for a couple of reasons. One is because the monsters in the town feed off of fear. And if they just killed off everybody, there is nobody there to feed the fear. So the monsters don't get fed. Nobody gets fed. They have to have Victor there and they have to have him really scared. And the second is that he has this knowledge now. He knows what's going on. He's been really traumatized by it. So some of it might be in the back of his mind. Some of it I do think is at the forefront of his mind and he knows what's actually happened, but he's not telling anybody. And that the man in yellow threatened him, scared him, traumatized him, everything you can think of to stop him, to be like, okay, you know what happens now if you go searching for answers, or if anybody in this town goes searching for answers. So you are now going to be the pillar of From, and anytime anybody comes to this town, you are going to make sure that nobody goes looking for answers, because if they do, this knowledge will come at a cost and they will die and it will be your fault. And saying that to someone as young as he was at that time is enough to make him as scared as he was. That's my theory.
I think It's very, very good for
Oh.
starters. I think, yes, pat yourself on the back. No,
We'll see. Listen, there's a lot of theories. You guys got to leave it in the
yeah.
comments too of like, why do you think Victor is so scared of that yellow suit?
I mean, it has to be because he has some sort of visualization of it. Like, he's not going to be afraid of something for no reason. Even as somebody who is as irreparably broken as Victor is, there's a reason why he's like that. And there are specific
Mhm.
things, and we've seen this before on the show, that cause him to freak out, but not in this particular form. Like, this
Right.
is a very direct, immediate, just I don't know how else to describe what we all saw, the physical, you know what, running down the leg. This is like an
Oh,
instant fear where it's not something that simmers. Like that is a direct sign that he has seen or experienced this man in yellow before.
yeah.
And when you sort of think about it that way, if you're the man in yellow, once again, very hard to get inside this guy slash entity's head, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
The question is, why would you leave somebody alive if your entire existence is kind of predicated on being in the shadows? It has to therefore be, like you're saying, that they're well aware of the fact that Victor, even though he knows stuff, is still an asset in that way because he is so shattered that he's never going to be able
Yes.
to really talk about anything because then he's going to have to relive those memories. And it's also been so long that he might have morphed the story in his own
Mhm.
head so he doesn't know what to believe anymore. This is sort of the very bad side of all of us know that story of like the person who caught a 20-inch fish and they turned it into like they're 4 feet long. Like that's the funny version of it where over time the story morphs and changes. But here it's a very, very dark version of it where Victor may have a hard time pulling together the truth from the lies. And the only thing he might know is that this man in yellow was very much involved.
Yeah, and I mean, keeping those secrets. I mean, out through all this time, the man in yellow knows that he has kept these secrets because everybody's been here for a while now, and Victor has shared almost nothing. Like, he absolutely is just like, nope, we're not supposed to talk about it. I'm not supposed to talk about it. He has said stuff like that for all 4 seasons now.
Yeah, and I think the other really important thing you said in all of this was discussing the bottle tree and Miranda here and
Yeah,
how seemingly close she might have been
yeah.
to solving all of this. Because what we know about the man in yellow in the very limited amount of time that we've known them,
Hmm.
whether it's in his yellow suit form or Sophia, he's really down to watch people suffer and to really struggle and watch them sort of turn on each other. It's hard for me to believe he would go ahead and press the instant wipe out the entire field button unless this was sort of the last resort, the only way to make sure that they're not able to complete this quest. So yeah, this does make me feel like they were pretty close to figuring this out.
I think they were really close to figuring it out. I mean, Christopher was already with the symbols and he was starting to figure some stuff out there.
Yeah.
Miranda was at the ball tree starting to figure out some stuff there. Was They were getting really, really close, like as close as Tabitha and Jade have been getting now as well. And that has also come at a cost.
One of the things that to me is really, really fun about this show, this fandom, kind of breaking everything down, is sort of connecting little theories together and sort of seeing that everything could be woven. Like we talked a lot in the episode 2 review about the Chromonacle theory
Yeah.
and the storybooks and all of that sort of stuff. And one of the big comparisons in that material, if you will, is the idea of this lonely dragon who
Mhm.
cultivates a map. And when you sort of think about it, who's lonelier in this town than Victor? And while him having all the answers, like you said, like this may not be a literal map, it still represents the map is the thing that's designed to get you home. And Victor may be the person designed to get you home, but he doesn't know how to like put all the pieces on the map together.
Yeah, I mean, this is Miranda's son.
Yeah.
So I feel like while she had visions, he's had visions. He just may not understand what all of them are because a lot of his visions and a lot of what actually happened to him back there, they might be getting mixed up because he was a kid. And it's hard when you're a kid to always know like what's real, what's
Yeah.
imagination, what's going on.
And in order to make all this happen, you may need to, once again, more theories being put together. You got
Mhm.
to get together the melody here. As somebody who I was in a middle school orchestra, I played the saxophone. If I just went up there
Mhm.
on stage by myself and played, I would have been okay. Not good, but not like really, really bad. It's that you need the full orchestra. You need to really get this melody going. And while Victor may have the map, he'll need other people to help to sort of understand it. You talk about being, Miranda's son. This is where he might need Tabitha. Clearly, they all need
Right.
Ethan. Like this whole putting the pieces together, like that is very much a key here.
They really need to come together. And I feel like this season, and now that this has happened, this is going to do one of two things to
Mm,
Victor. It's either going to be the thing that everyone's able to then finally pull out of him, where his father's there now
yeah.
and he feels protected. So maybe he'll be willing to open up because they have a plan, or it's going to put him further in the shell where that map will be lost forever.
Yeah, and let's stay on Victor here as we continue the tinfoil hatathon that is this
Hmm.
discussion, because through the early part of this, even before Victor encounters the yellow suit, he and Ethan commence their quest that they're gonna go and try to find the Lake of Tears. They
Yes.
end up going to the Brundles, where you have Jade doing Jade things in the water, and Victor is terrified of the water. We've seen this now on a number of instances, and
Yep.
for those of you who've been kind of watching closely, you've seen that Victor has drawn. You can consider it the flooded house, the drowned house, whatever it is that you will. And I think what's so interesting about this now, through the lens of what you have said about what may have happened to that previous generation, it's that we can view all of that as Victor imagining maybe this is a literal thing that
Hmm.
did happen in the past, or if his brain is just sort of scrambled and confused by what's real decades removed, what's not real, given that Julie is a story walker and Goen can experience the past, like can Victor experience elements of the future? Like this is the craziest theory that I have at present regarding some of this. Is this
Right.
idea that Victor kind of knows on some level something really, really bad may be happening if they continue to follow all this through. There are people out there who have sort of connected and speculated that the tunnels underneath the town may be connected to the Lake of Tears.
Hmm.
What if Victor kind of knows how all of this could go, and that going into the tunnels may cause the Lake of Tears to form, but it's an actual Lake of Tears that sort of rises up, floods the town, and then poor Ethan, who is just a child, is left in this situation where maybe there is a way that he could save Jim, but if he was going to save Jim, it would come at the expense of losing a lot of other people. This is the sort of demented stuff that the man in yellow
Yes.
would really want to do, put people directly against each other, and maybe the whole idea of, oh, you can't save people who are gone. It's really more about, okay, you shouldn't save people who are gone because then you're going to end up losing people that you actually do have.
Yeah, that if you've, lost a soul, that you have to trade a soul for a soul. Where now we get into talking a bit about the crows,
Yeah.
because the crows are seen as spiritual messengers. That's sort of the mythology behind them, is that they can bring messages from the spirit world to the real world. So while they're, burying Jim, you've got a crow coming and landing right on his grave. I'm like, hello, Jim. And then you see Sophia there getting really pissed off. You can see it all over her face that she's like trying to continue to look concerned and whatever. The actress is playing it so well that she's trying to look concerned, to pretend like she's concerned like everybody else, but you can see it bubbling in her lips that she's getting really pissed off, that maybe the crows have this whole time been this messenger to warn them, to be like, get out of here, or this is, not where you need to be, or helping guide to get you out of here. That the past people who have died there are there in this form to help them get out.
Well, yeah, like here's the thing. I really like crows. Crows are a really interesting symbol. I appreciate that From is kind of bringing a lot of that to light here.
Hmm.
This is one of the best parts of the entire
Yeah.
episode. And clearly, like Sophia slash Man in Yellow, like they're very well aware of all this. And I think this is what makes sort of the central struggle at the heart of this show so interesting, where it would be kind of easy if the Man in Yellow was just sort of like this omnipresent villain who could do everything, cause chaos all over the map. But if there was no opposition, the show would kind of be boring.
Here's the thing. I think the crows and what happened with Boyd at the end, I know it was really scary for
Yeah.
him. You've got the hand jumping out and trying to grab him and pull him in. I feel that those are connected, that this really is the people who have died
Mhm.
there are trying to reach the people who are alive there. And I know that there's some people that are there that are trying to mislead people and
Yeah.
bring them into different ways and different spaces. But then we have other sort of spiritual connections, like the crows trying to, like, they all showed up when you see the log, like they're warning you, like, bad things are about to happen. We're
Mhm.
trying to warn you, get out of here if you still can, sort of thing. And I actually think, and I'm probably on an island here, that the him sitting at his wife's grave and talking it out, that the hand coming out was either the spirit of Abby and it wasn't really happening,
Yeah.
that somebody trying to be like, hey, listen to me.
This is the thing. At first, I felt like it was just a scare tactic. Like when I first watched it, I was just like, oh, there's the show doing another sort of, cliffhanger that we've seen on a number of horror shows over the years.
And it could be.
But here's the thing, like the longer you sit on it, I think the more what you're saying makes a little bit of sense because it just feels like this is season 4. We know season 5 is coming. We know that's going to be the final season.
Yes.
I think the From writers are smarter than to just end this episode on like kind of another stereotypical horror cliffhanger. I think there is more that is going on beyond all of this. I think the problem here is that when you are sort of the spirits, like, do you know the right way to communicate? Are you capable of being able to do everything in the way in which it would be quote unquote acceptable? I mean, just look at all the history of ghosts and, not to go down a huge ghost rabbit hole here, but
Mhm.
not all of them are Casper. Not all of them are friendly. Not all of them know how to express themselves to the living. And like those interpretations, like it can be really, really misleading when it's not even meant to be.
And that's what's so great about From is I do think there is that whole mixed bag of different spirits there, some that are trying to lead them astray, some that are definitely trying to help, I feel. And I think that's why Sophia was getting as pissed off as she looked like she was getting at that moment, worried, because typically they're
Yeah.
sort of kept at the edge of town where you see the log, they're all trapped there
Mhm.
trying to warn you, but there's nothing else they can do. And that's why she's like, oh, has this ever happened before? No, this is the first time. So now that the bar has been moved, it's opening up that maybe these messengers from the spirit world are able to get closer to the people in the town and maybe even give them a warning.
Yeah, I really enjoy. We kind of have this chess match going on at this point where now that Sophia slash Man in Yellow is in the town, she can sort of see and directly experience things like, oh, this is new. This is a problem. How am I going to make my next move? And in some instances, maybe she was going to make the same next move anyway. But the whole decision of, oh, I'm going to go and move in with Sarah, even though Sarah already seemed, I don't want to say weirded out by her whole let me go and look at glasses exchange in episode 2. Like, she didn't look super comfortable. It also doesn't feel like she was that comfortable with the idea of her moving in either, but it's kind of like it's a town, she's alone. What are you going to do? But just to me, the obvious reasoning behind what Sophia is doing is she does have this information about what happened with Sarah in the past. Like, if the Man in Yellow knows everything, obviously would have known that anyway. But
Yeah.
the idea that there's like tangible communication in the town around this, she can now just cause a lot of problems and then just be like, oh my God, guys, did you know what Sarah is doing at this place? Like, she's doing X, Y, or Z. We all need to be worried about her. The bad Sarah's all starting to come back.
And that's the thing. Are people already worried about Sarah? There's
Yeah.
people that have tried to move on, but there's lots of people that just never moved on, and she's still the town pariah. So I was kind of actually surprised that she chose Sarah because Sarah is somebody that the town already doesn't really trust. So I was like, okay, is she there then to set her up for something? Or does she think that maybe she can break in again? Because Sarah is one of the first
Yeah.
people that the town was telling her to do things, writing on her arm, telling her to kill Ethan, all these different things, that because she was vulnerable, that maybe Sophia thinks she could be vulnerable again.
Yeah, I think this is just the option that on paper right now makes the most sense for her because this is somebody who, yeah, she can try to get to. And if this doesn't work, guess what? there are all sorts of other options out there you can try to look for. There's always been conflicts between the town and Colony House. You may be able to cause like a little bit of carnage there. You have someone like Randall, who has not always been the nicest person in the world to everyone in this community. Like, this is not the only person that the man in yellow can go after.
I love Randall and Julie's friendship so much. I mean, she's looking to do something really dangerous to try
Yep.
to help the town to get this book of her brothers out of the collapsed house. Randall is waiting there for her. He's now talked her into letting him go into this house. This friendship is so wholesome. And it's so weird to say that
Yeah.
because this town is the last thing that is wholesome. But there's just something so nice about this friendship.
There really is. Like, this is the charm on this very, very weird episode, is watching like these character pairings of people who should or should not trust each other, like trying to find a
Yeah.
way to make things work. Like, yeah, Julie and Randall. Like, Julie seems to very much believe that if she gets a hand on these books,
Mhm.
maybe there is information, maybe there is answers, maybe it's because she wrote them down the road. Like, it's all really hard to say, but she clearly thinks that she needs them. Randall's one of the few people she can really trust. Even with, Henry and Tabitha, like, they have a little bit of history as
Mhm.
well. And like, he is, I don't want to say a full-on father figure because then things get kind of bizarre, but he is somebody who she will listen to on some level. He
Mhm.
understands a little bit of what she's going through. He understands what it means to be a parent separated from your child. It's
Yeah.
like, I found something very sweet about the two of them, but also like real stakes where it's just like, Tabitha, you're about to just leave your kids and you think that the note is gonna be okay?
Yeah, she's desperate, right? I
Yeah,
mean, she's trying to save her children at the very least, which I was kind of surprised she wasn't like, I'm just going to take them through the tree with me,
yeah.
because she already knows that last time she ended up by herself and they were stuck back in this town. So I was surprised she didn't try to take them. But we have the man in white who has shown up. He is
The,
no longer the
the
boy in
vault.
white. Whoa, let me tell you, that voice, it threw me for a loop when he was like, hello. And she's like, why do you look different? I'm like, why do you sound different? Man, you have grown up.
The man in white and Ethan are going to have a grow up off before the end of season 5. They're both going to show up in the series finale, and their voice is going to sound just like me.
What I love about this show, though, is that they don't have to explain any of this
Yeah,
because this town is so strange. It
yes,
truly doesn't matter that he's growing up.
it really doesn't. But this is what also it makes it really fun because there's a very thin line between life and death. There's a very thin line about what time really means. Like, you can
Mhm.
age really, really fast. I mean,
Yeah.
we've even seen this in the dark form with Tabitha. I mean, with with Fatima's pregnancy. And
Yes.
speaking of Fatima in very weird pairings, here is where I needed a little bit more of Fatima and Elgin with the dirt, if I'm being honest. It feels like it was a little bit, okay, we have a lot of weird stuff in this episode. Now we're just gonna have Elgin just bringing all the dirt upstairs.
Okay, yo, what's the plan? And they have given so little that
Yes.
there, for me, is nothing to even theorize about. They have a pile of dirt sitting
Yeah.
in like an attic room, and that is what is going on at this point.
Yeah, I tried really, really hard with
Yo,
this,
I
guys.
tried so much too. I was like, you didn't give me enough.
Yeah, I was
It's
like,
okay.
is she gonna grow plants so that she can eat rotten fruit, but she's not pregnant? It was just like there was a connection sort of with the dirt last season, but it's also, I guess, if you're Elgin at this point, you're like, all right, you have every reason in the world to hate me. You
That's
want me to
right.
bring dirt upstairs? Fine. You want me to bring dirt anywhere? You want me to eat this dirt? I'll go ahead. I'll eat this dirt.
Okay, Acosta. We're
Oh,
gonna
all
talk
right,
about
all right, all
Acosta.
right.
Okay, hold on. Let me waste your time for a second. Did anybody notice the outlet that was sitting beside her in the cell? I don't know why it caught my attention, but I went and looked up everywhere in the world that has different outlets
Yeah.
and what they all look like. This is no outlet I had ever seen in my life. It was so weird. It was like a sideways face when I saw it, and it caught me right away because it was so creepy. And I was just like, it's very weird that they're kind of focused on her, and right beside her is the weirdest outlet I've ever seen. And because we know that this town is sort of, there's no electricity, nothing's really working, but the electricity is working. It's kind of plugged into nothing. I saw that outlet and I was like, this is a really weird detail that I feel that the show has put in on purpose just for the people like me that are like, what is that outlet?
100%. It's all here on
It was
purpose.
so weird.
This is like I didn't notice it when we were watching, but this is the equivalent of me with everything with the motel in this town, where it doesn't matter whatever they show of it. Every time I'm just like staring blankly at it. I think it's there for a reason. It's got to be. I don't know if it's some weird primitive version of electric. If it's a clue that there's somewhere in the real world that has answers. Like, it is really bizarre.
I love this show for the human relationships.
Yes.
The town, when they do come together, and the people who are trying to help each other out. And watching Boyd with Acosta, where he realized that maybe she was going through some of the same things that his late wife was going through. And
Yeah.
maybe he's seeing it this time, and maybe he can do something to get her mind on something else, to focus on her strengths, bringing her to the shed and being like, here are the things that we thought we didn't need. Maybe we missed something. And she knows what he's doing and calls him out on it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But still, it's true. There might actually be something in there.
Well, that's the thing. Even if she knows what he's doing, this is still, and I will tip my cap to you, Boyd. This is some great leadership. This is not you crashing out. This is you sort of identifying, here's what this
Yes.
person can bring to the table. Here's what I stand to lose if this person is not around. But best case scenario, like, obviously worst case scenario is she finds nothing, she goes off, and then she's just gone. But I think she might be able to find something. It does kind of get lost on all of us at times that Boyd, not really a cop in the outside world.
Right.
I kind of like that they roped that back in here. I want Acosta to do something where she feels important, and then this character just evolves past being this person who's around, who's just complaining all the time, because that does get tiring, and that's just the writers kind of setting us up to all hate her, and I don't really want that.
I like that she's a non-believer, because there aren't really any of those in this town.
Mhm.
And with everything that she's kind of experienced and seen and whatever, she still is kind of a non-believer. Like, we watched her all go around in this ambulance and then stop and be like, "Oh man, okay, I am
Yeah.
trapped in this town." But she still is coming across to me as someone who is not buying into this. And I think it's really interesting to have somebody in this town, even though Acosta's not my favorite, she's not my least favorite person
Yeah.
anymore, because they've really done more with her this season to build that up, as we've got somebody in this town that does not believe in what is going on. And to me, she feels then like a really special person. Like, if she's not getting broken by this
Mhm.
town, that's a problem.
Well, this is where I think, as we start to kind of look ahead, things get really, really messy, because we have Acosta, somebody who's not buying in to much of anything. And like, that can be dangerous in its own way, because it just sort of facilitates more conflict, right? And then conversely, we have Jade, who decides amidst all of his wandering, oh, what's this in the ground here? Am I about to just go onto another spiritual plane? And if we have Jade going completely out there, kind of doing the opposite of everything Tabitha wants him to do, where he's just going to be starting to see things, like, that means he's probably going to go and mess something else up.
Okay, there was two parts of this episode that I was like, could do without.
All right.
That was one of them.
All right.
I just felt that it would have been more interesting to see Jade not have to pick this up and be like, oh, this could be a thing. Because he was asking for something similar from Boyd earlier in the
Mhm.
episode. And I was just like, it doesn't really need to be that. Like, I don't know. It's part of the show that I was just hoping they weren't going to dip into, and that the thing with Boyd was just a passing thing. But now we're here at that. And the other was Sophia taking her father's tooth. I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, what is this? And I mean, we're also watching Widow's Bay right
Yeah.
now, where they did teeth in a much different, better way, where there's an actual game in there that's just called Teeth.
Yeah.
And when you open up the box, all that's in there is pliers. I was like, this is the way you do something like that. But here I was just like, what's the purpose of this?
It just made me feel like, okay, are you just being Dexter Morgan collecting people's slides? Like, unless there's something you're...
That's what it felt like, a trophy, or just
Yeah.
to give us like the ick factor of pulling teeth.
Yeah, guess what? We have plenty of the ick factor in other places. Like, to me, the one thing I kind of could have done without was the whole reimagining of the rage room where we had just, okay, let's just all go and just like put the hammer into the cars. It's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah, Fatima does need a little bit of an outlet. Like she has gone through it. I have seen this on too many other shows, including reality shows. It just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Yeah, I liked seeing Ellis try to come and be there for
Hmm.
Fatima in a way that he thought might be able to help. It may have helped, but it clearly didn't stop her from being like, we need more dirt, bring up more dirt.
Yeah.
So it hasn't stopped her from where she is. And it also didn't have her open up to Ellis about what it is that she's doing. So I would have liked to have seen Ellis do something that he's a little more in tune with, because he's such a laid back guy. And
Yeah.
before everything that happened with Fatima, she was also a very laid back girl of
Yeah.
kind of where the wind goes is how we're going to kind of deal with it. It would have been cool to see him maybe take her back to the lake somewhere that, was really important to them.
Yeah, this may just be me. I'm not somebody who likes to break things ever, and I just feel like if I'm trying to get out of my own head in this town, just give me an activity where I can relax. I don't know
Yeah,
what.
I do not like to break things ever. And last night I was pouring a tea in my favorite mug and it just
Oh no.
cracked. I know, I do not like breaking things.
No.
This rage room thing was not for me.
No, but that's where we are coming out of from season 4, episode 3. A lot of content, a lot of mystery.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of it all? Let us know your theories in the comments, and also be sure to check out our YouTube memberships, and you can see there our exclusive video talking about whether or not the man in yellow made a grave mistake. Thank you to everyone for your
Thank
support
you.
there, and we'll see you here next time.